So Supergirl takes another huge L. We're going to talk about what's going on with Supergirl right now. A lot of people not looking forward to this movie. They're saying that it's tracking at probably less than 55 million at opening, which I know it sounds like a lot of money, but again, this is a crazy expensive movie. They were expecting, probably 3/4 of what Superman was making. They've been pushing this movie very hard, and they're saying the worst case scenario, as the numbers start to roll in for pre-orders, for ticket sales, that it could potentially do less than the Marvels, which would be catastrophic. I can tell you right now that other than a few hardcore Millie Alcock fans, most people aren't excited about this movie. Most people are like, oh yeah, I forgot there's a Supergirl movie. Or they're like, hey, didn't this movie come out already? So I mean, for me personally, I don't really care. It looks like a James Gunn movie, but it looks like a very drab movie. And Supergirl is not something I associate with drabness and bars, and like it's not working for me for that character right now. If it was just a Lobo movie, I'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. And Lobo's in it, but it does feel like it's a Lobo movie with Supergirl in it. And it's been through numerous rounds of reshoots, and that's usually not a good sign that this thing is going to do well. But now there's some more fuel to the fire being tossed on the fire. They had a mix-up with official DC art. They actually added a Star Wars character to, I don't know how the hell this happened. They added a Star Wars character to an official piece of artwork. This is a print that was for sale. And the character in the background is actually from The Last Jedi. Now, in the interest of fairness, Comic Tropes actually put this character out there. It does look similar to this other character that is going to be in the movie, right? But people are like, did they use AI or something to find a reference of this character? Because this is something an AI would do. Be like, yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's like, no, it's clearly not the same thing. But people are calling that out. They're like, what the hell is going on? Some people are trying to pass off as being like a tee-hee-hee moment. But I'm like, that's a pretty big F up. I mean, this is an official piece of DC artwork using Warner Brothers characters, and you're using the competition's characters. So like, clearly nobody looked at this and said, hey, what's going on here? Or they just don't care. I don't know. But it tells me that there's a lot of people just not giving a shit around this movie. I'm going to be honest, because that is kind of a big mess up. And look, mistakes happen all the time. But to use your competition's character and not even realize a difference between these characters is kind of crazy. So I'm not blaming the artist. I think they probably sent the artist the reference. And, again, this is The Last Jedi. It was a character that either was cut from the movie or was only in the movie for a couple of seconds. So I wouldn't expect the artist to know who it is or what it is. But again, that's just kind of a big L and not a very good look. And it just looks like they just don't care. That's my personal opinion. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV, including an episode we just put up last night of Geeky ranting about YouTube. She's complaining about YouTube off of YouTube because we don't want to complain about YouTube on YouTube, because if you complain about YouTube on YouTube, YouTube's AI might yeet you from the platform. So check it out. And also, if you want to listen to the audio version of Clownfish TV, go out to iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you find your favorite podcasts, including ours, hopefully. That would be pretty cool. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, let's talk about this. MovieWeb had it. Said DC Comics Shop has started selling a curated selection of limited edition art, apparel, and collectibles featuring, is it Bilky Evely, the artist for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which actually I think their art is really, really good. I was looking through some of the images for the Supergirl source material. I'm like, wow, how come it's so colorful? How come the comic it's based on is so colorful and the movie looks so drab? But the artwork is very, very good. And this person has a very European style, which I love. I'm a huge fan of like Franco-Belgian comics. I love heavy metal. I love, Tintin. I love all that stuff. Hugo Pratt. So for me, I'm like, yeah, this is very cool. I love the art, but I don't blame the artist. But that being said, like having a Star Wars character in this official movie poster is kind of a huge L for DC. So the print was called Across the Galaxy. It was being sold for $120 and featured characters from Supergirl drawn by the artist in the style of the original Woman of Tomorrow comic. Yet one of the alien creatures doesn't belong to DC or Warner Brothers. In fact, it's an alien from Star Wars, specifically an alien, that was cut from the movie in The Last Jedi, in Canto Bight. Supergirl features a similar long-necked alien known as Screecher, who was recently shown by star Jason Momoa in Instagram video. So yeah, you can see this is what the character looks like. And yes, it's very, very similar. I get that. But I'm even like, the head is completely different, and any editor would look at this and be like, this is off model. This isn't what the character actually looks like. Unless they don't give a shit. It is clearly a different alien. I know they all look the same to some of you people. Some of you bigots, they all look the same. Warner Brothers and DC has not commented on the air. Disney and Lucasfilm, the owners of Star Wars, have not commented on the artwork. However, Supergirl 2026 movie metal print Across the Galaxy has been removed, so they had to pull it down. Of course, this is not an indication of any actual DC and Star Wars crossover, but people think it's but rather a simple mistake. No, that's actually kind of a big mistake. Again, what that tells me is that people at DC are not paying attention. People associated with this movie are not paying attention. It is kind of a big mix-up, because that means they're not even looking at the artwork at all to see if they're on model. When I was doing Disney comics, they would look at the art and they'd be like, yeah, Mickey's tongue is the wrong color. His freaking tongue is the wrong color. And you'd get notes on that. So they're like, yeah, it's the totally different alien. I'm like, just at that point, just put every freaking alien in it, right? Whatever alien you want. Actually put a xenomorph in it. That'd be kind of fun. It's currently unclear how the mix-up happened. Nobody gave a shit. That's how the mix-up happened. The most likely scenario is the artist was sent the wrong reference photo for her Supergirl artwork, or accidentally looked up the wrong image. I'm saying they probably provided her with the wrong artwork. It certainly is an easy mistake to make, as they look similar. However, Screecher's mouth opens up into a lower mandible, while Lexo Sugar... I love that they name the aliens that aren't even in the movie. They got cut from the movie. Like, I love Star Wars. It's like, it's so crazy. And they probably have a whole backstory for this damn alien that wasn't even in the movie, in the final cut. Lexo Sugar. That's her name. Lexo Sugar does not. So you can see it's not the same alien. One of them has a big head and one of them does not. Supergirl's marketing is in full swing, with tickets recently going on sale and the final trailer having been released. Early box office tracking has Supergirl opening to $55 million. That's well below Superman's $125 million opening. In fact, Supergirl is projected to be on par with Green Lantern or The Flash. Oh my God, that's not good. It's also, and those movies came out years ago. It's also so far behind Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu, which opened at $81 million. Now, Supergirl and Star Wars are not just tied together as box office competitors, but also having an unintended marketing crossover. They're both going to flop. They're both going to fail catastrophically this year, in my opinion. And I don't know what that means for James Gunn's DCEU. I think after Man of Tomorrow, I think he's going to be done. That's my personal opinion. There are some rumors out there that the Saudis want the Snyderverse back, and the Saudis have or will be buying into the Warner Brothers Paramount deal. That is looking more and more possible. I know a lot of people dismissed it as being just like, oh, this is like some fan wank, whatever, wishful thinking. Saudi money is helping bankroll the Warner Brothers Paramount deal. The James Gunn movies are not performing. And you start putting all that stuff together, and I could totally see them being like, yeah, we're either going to reboot DC completely with Zack Snyder or somebody else or something. I don't think James Gunn is going to be allowed to continue doing, or at least running, DC Studios after the merger. I think he knows that, because he's been very cagey on podcasts. I've been, looking at some of the quotes he's been saying on these podcasts, and he seems to be very cognizant of where he's at right now with Warner Brothers. I think they'll keep him on to do movies if he wants to do movies, but I don't think he's going to be in charge. I think it'll be like, okay, well, we got another like Guardian style ensemble movie. We want to bring him in for another Suicide Squad, which I like quite a bit, by the way. His Suicide Squad I thought was really good, but it was Suicide Squad. I don't want that everywhere, right? But I think that I could see them bringing him in for like a Lobo movie or something like that. But I don't think he's going to be in charge. That's my personal opinion. But right now, I think they just realize this thing is going to be a disaster. It's going to be another flop. And this summer has been a summer of flops. It really has. I mean, we've had a lot, like Masters of the Universe flopped. Mando and Grogu flopped. Supergirl is absolutely going to flop. I don't know what's going to happen with the Odyssey yet. A lot of people saying they're not going to go see it, but the ticket sales seem to be pretty good. But it's just been a summer of ass. It really has for the studios. It's just been like, what's making money are these cheap ass horror movies by YouTubers. They're making bank, but and that's going to be the takeaway from all of this. And if you don't like those kinds of movies, you don't like those shoestring budget indie movies, you're going to be out of luck because the studios are going to look at and be like, these tentpole movies, we spend hundreds of millions of dollars on them and they don't get return on investment. The days of making $1 billion guaranteed off of every superhero movie, every big sci-fi movie, whatever, those days are over, right? It's not coming back. Studios are broke. The moviegoers are broke. Everybody's broke. They're too broke to bankroll this shit. We're gonna see some right sizing. I think it's gonna be like the 70s, early 80s all over again. And maybe we're past due. I think we spent too much money on too much subpar entertainment for too long, and the bills come and due. You can only max out the credit cards for so long, and eventually the interest kills you. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We will talk later.